We're going to start dealing with another special case. Now, the special case we're going to be dealing with today is we call the sum or difference of the cubes. So what I'm looking at is each of my sides before or after the plus or minus sign, I have to be able to write everything to the third power. For example, 27, a to the third. I'm going to write this as 3a all to the third. Right, 3 to the third is 27, a to the third is a to the third, plus 4 to the third. I want everything to the third power. Now, the way I'm going to be able to factor this, my first parenthesis is going to be 3a plus 4. You can see where I got my 3a plus 4. My second parenthesis, there's going to be 3 terms on that one. I'm going to use my first parenthesis, 3a. Squared the first term. 3a times 3a is going to give me 9a squared. For the end, I see the end of the first parentheses, squared the last term of the first parentheses. 4 squared times 4 squared happens to be 16. All right, 4 times 4 is 16. Now, for my middle term, because I said there was going to be 3, my middle term, I see a plus in the first parentheses, so I'm going to go minus. I'm going to use the opposite sign. And then multiply the 2 terms from the first parentheses. 3a times 4 gives me 12a. This is it. Once you get the first parentheses, you use it to get the second parentheses. So a little recap. 9a squared because I went 3a squared. I squared my first term. The way I got the 16 because I went 4 squared. The way I got the 12a because I had 3a times 4. I multiply my 2 terms from the first parentheses. Now, there's an acronym that we're going to use for our signs because I see some pluses and some minus. We're going to use the acronym of SOAP. This is going to be my same sign. My question I had a plus, I'm going to go same sign. It's going to be the opposite. And then this last sign is always positive. So the acronym of SOAP is going to help us remember the signs. All right, let's take a look at question number 2. First, let me try to write everything to the third power. I'm going to write this as 6x to the third power minus 5 to the third. My first parenthesis is going to be 6x minus 5. My second parenthesis, I look at my first term. 6x times 6x gives me 36x squared. For the last term, I look at 5 times 5. It's positive 25. Now, for my middle term, remember I'm going to go opposite signs. So instead of the minus, I'm going to go plus. And when I say minus, I'm referring to this minus. I'm going to go the opposite, so plus 6x times 5. That gives me 30x. Let's take a look at question number 3. I must write everything to the third power. So I have 2x all to the third minus 3 to the third. My first parentheses will be 2x minus 3. For my last parenthesis, my second parenthesis, I'm looking 2x times 2x. For the last term of my parentheses, I'm looking at 3 times 3. For my middle term, I'm going to go plus because I have to go opposite sign from the first parentheses. So plus 2x times 3 is going to give me 6x. Let's take a look at question number 4. I must write everything to the third power. So I have this as 4x to the third power minus 3 to the third. I know 4 to the third is 64. I know 3 to the third is 27. My first parentheses, remember I'm going to respect that minus sign. My first parentheses is going to be 4x minus 3. For my first term on the second parentheses, 4x times 4x, 16x squared. The last term in my parentheses, 3 times 3, give me 9. For the middle term, I'm going to go opposite sign. Instead of the minus, I'm using plus. And then 4x times 3, that's going to give me 12x. So again, remember the acronym for the signs. This is the same sign. This is the opposite sign. This is always positive. So the acronym is SOAP. To help you guys with the formula, I have at the bottom of your notes, and you guys will see it on your questions, on your homework. I call it formula for sum or difference of cubes. Everything has to be to the third, so I just write in A and B. I have A squared, I have B squared, and then in the center I have A times B. Don't forget the signs. Notice I'm putting plus or minus because it depends on the sign. Remember the acronym, same sign, opposite sign, always positive. No, always I only have a positive sign there. So use the SOAP acronym for the signs. When it comes to cubes, it could be a plus or minus in between. That's why I'm going to call it the sum or the difference of the cubes.